Maini girls. Yeah, Maini girls have some bit of problems. It lost Maini girls when we were growing up. It was ahead of St. Mary's Socio. It was ahead of St. Teresa's girls. But now the St. Teresa's girls Socio and the other very many schools that came up are almost overtaking that school. So we are going to, we will get some 10 million from the Ministry of Education, and I will add some other 15 million so that we can turn around the infrastructure of that school. That one I am committed. We are going to, my team will visit you and carry out the specific activities that we are going to do to ensure that we turn around that school. Together with the Chesamis Mixed, together with the Wamalwa Kijana Secondary School, and of course also I want to also to expand Kamukuywa Township. This is the activities that we are going to undertake in secondary schools within this constituency, beginning this year. And of course, if there will be a spillover, then we will go towards the next financial year, which begins in the month of June this year. Any secondary school that I've left out that I asked them to come here? Yeah, Chelekei, we are going to do the same. We do the same to Chelekei. Matili for Koyana, I'm going to improve the school. We are going to improve the school together with Namanga. Then Buko, what we are going to do, in 2016, the former member of parliament had a project of a twin laboratory. They paid 1 million and constructed up to the slab level. The cost for that project was around 12-13 million thereabout, which I felt was exorbitant. And the person who was undertaking the construction by then was, you know, Saddam. Saddam used to be his driver. So I tried to convince the former principal to engage the public works and revise the costings. We were not successful, but we have now, currently we have managed. We have allocated 7 million to complete that project. So the contract for the previous contractor self-terminated itself because of time. So we are going now, we are back on track. We are going to complete that laboratory, and we will also improve the school to a level that the classrooms will be tiled, or we put terrazzo, we will put cabro in the school, and we will just give the school some 100% facelift, because we are going to, I will explain to you on what we are going to do with the primary schools. Of course, same to Namanga Bahai, Namanga DB Secondary School. Any other secondary schools that I've left out? And they are here? Okay. And of course, I haven't explained to some schools. There are some schools that they said their priority is a school bus. Yeah? So the schools that I've identified for facelift are the schools that I want them to contribute to my credentials, so that when my development book will be written, they will be part of the story to tell. For primary schools, we have come to the end of building story buildings. I think we've had enough. I am going to leave that responsibility of building story buildings in schools to the new MP who will come in 2027. We have had enough. We have had enough story buildings here. They are now too monotonous, and we are the captains of that industry. The other constituencies are now copying. Now they are coming up. You go to Kapchai, you go to Bumula, you go to Tongaren, Webuya West, Webuya East. Now they are struggling to come up. Some have so far done 2, others 3. Us, we are very far. So I'm going now to change. What I'm going to do, beginning this financial year, and we already have a proposal, is to eliminate the very many old buildings that were built in 1970s, 1960s, 1980s. So we are going to eliminate all those buildings. For most of you who have been to Kimili FYM, Kimili FYM Primary School, it had the same buildings that the likes of John Masinde purchased education from. They were still existing, so we gave the school 100% facelift. So all the primary schools in Kimili constituency will look like Kimili Friends, Kimili FYM Primary School. So I'll go word by word. We have allocated enough funds this year. The renovation that we are going to carry out, that will give the school 100% facelift, including tiling of the classroom, cabro and landscaping, and construction of a gate for the watchman, the entrance of the school, and sorting out the fence, because most of the schools are porous. It has been a very long journey of engaging public works, government architects, in coming up with the most accurate bills of quantities. So the amount of money that we have allocated, it will not spill over to the next financial year. They will be completed, and we are going to do it. Yeah, and each construction, we have come up with a robust plan, a robust schedule of activities, which will see a school change her face within a period of about 2 weeks to 3 weeks, so that we don't take much time. Yeah. So the schools that I'm going to mention here, these are schools where we have allocated enough funds this year to improve the school, eliminate the old structures, put tiles or terrazzo. We are yet to make a decision on the terrazzo because the costs are a bit almost the same. We are looking at the expertise, the time frame, because we are going to juggle between when the classes are not in use and when they are in use, so that we do not interrupt the learning and we don't stop the construction. So you will be at times you can see when you leave for, you break, when you break for weekend, you come back, some classrooms, the roof is changed. Yeah? When you come back, the remainder of the roofs are removed. So when you break from 3, they will be coming to work. Most of our schools, we have power. So we will be working most of the time at night. So when you leave in the evening, the fundis comes to work at night so that we can complete these classrooms. So the schools which I have earmarked in Kibingei Ward, number 1 is, but of course, when I finish, the director will give us an update on the ongoing JSS construction. I don't like mentioning them because I'm used to funding big projects of 8 classrooms, 3 classrooms. So when I mentioned that we are doing 1 classroom JSS, hi Bambi. Naona hiyo kidogo. So those ones I have, I know we have very many JSS classrooms, but I feel like that one will take me psychologically. The sub-county will mention those schools. So the schools which we have earmarked for 100% facelift, landscaping, tiling, and cabro in Kibingei Ward number 1 is Chepkwabi Primary School. Yeah. That one we have put it on our program. And of course, we will also do a JSS in that same school. Siuna Primary School, we are going to sort it out. Kibingei FYM Primary School, Kitai Primary School. We are going to go back to Kimili FYM to do the cabro and the tiling or terrazzo. We are also put on our program through emergence of this financial year. It's called St. Joseph's Primary School. Area ya Miruri, hapo mwalimu ya Miruri. Atakuja, umwambie we also going to sort out that school. We are going to Lutonyi Primary School, Huiroro Primary School, Kamusinga AC Primary School, in Kibingei Ward, in Kimili Ward. We have redesigned, we have allocated enough money and they redesigned Kimili RC Girls. Where is the RC Girls? That Kimili RC Girls, the school is sitting on the road. When the road was constructed, they demolished the wall. So we have allocated around 13 million on that school. What we are going to do, we have redesigned the school so that when you are on the tarmac, you will see a wall that will appear like it's a perimeter wall. You don't see the school. So we have done some readjustment. So we will implement that in this year. We'll also put cabro and tiles. Of course, that is a school that has benefited. We built 8 classrooms, story building. We have also done 2 JSS. So the school now, around 3. You've done 3 JSS, so that school will be complete, not requiring any other infrastructure, at least for the next 10 years. Yeah. We also, in this primary, in the boys section, we are doing JSS, and we are also going to do cabro and tiling of the classrooms. We are going to do the same Community B primary. We are going to do the same B2U primary. Even if we're also putting out that store building, we're also going to give those other existing old buildings a new facelift. And they put tiles and cabro in the whole school. We are also going to, there is a project in, it's a school called Punda Primary School. But you need to change the name from Punda to some other name. Some other name that is a bit better. If if you don't have a name, you can call it Didmus Barasa Primary School if there is no another name. Yeah, because that Punda name is not a good name. It is the only school. That school was registered by us. We built the classrooms, and I think it's the only school in my constituency that do not have JSS, right? Because we have an ongoing project of 6 classrooms, which now will bring a total to 12. I want to make my commitment that by the end of this year, that school must have been accredited to host junior secondary school. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that is my commitment. Yeah. So we are going to sort out that one, complete it. We are also going to, we are put on a program, Matili, FYM Primary School, Chelekei Primary School, and Namoanga DB, in terms of uplifting them to the level that I've just said. Mizurumeni SDA, we have allocated some 10 million from the Ministry of Education for additional classrooms. There was a bit of a challenge in that school. The previous member of parliament bought land several kilometers from the school without consulting the school, where he was to relocate the school to that new land. But the school and their sponsor refused to move. So we have put up classrooms to the existing land that belonged to the church, which the church now donated to the school. So what we require, we had tasked the school to look for a neighbor who is willing to move to the other land that we bought for the school. And I'm told the owner of the land has refused to move, those kind of things. So there's a bit of wallabaloo. But nonetheless, I have made my commitment of building 6 more classrooms and ensuring that the school has land where the learners can play from. Together with the Kimili, Hamlati DB. Hamlati DB, it requires land. Yes. I had money ready to buy that land, but when you came to see me with the land, the documents and the signatures of the agreement, I kept quiet because I was not committed, because I knew the person who signed those contracts died a number of weeks ago. So I was wondering whether she resurrected to sign. So there are some things when you do them, you first look at the documents yourself, right? Then you look at yourself first, right? Of course, her children had falsified the signature because they had the ID of the mother, but I knew the mother died several weeks ago because I participated in the burial arrangements. So I was wondering how she resurrected to sign the documents. And that one will have brought problems because the sons were not there. So the son can come and say, challenge that sale agreement. Once you have the death certificate that the chief has processed, the death certificate indicating the death where that person was buried, and you look at the agreement, when it was signed, I think it will look very ugly. So we can buy the same land, but you must do proper process, proper documentation. They first have to do a consent to the family to change the land from the name of the deceased to a person who is alive. Then from there we can now engage and go forward. As that's being done, if you get another neighbor with the land, we proceed. And we had also allocated some other 10 million to put up, I think, around 8 classrooms, 6 classrooms, or 7 classrooms, so that now the school can be complete, up and running. So that one is still pending. We must get land before we begin to proceed forward. Of course, Material RC, that is ongoing. We go to Maini. Maini, we have earmarked Sehendu Primary School. We have to go back and change the face of the remaining buildings, do cabro, and do tiling. We also have the same project undertaken there at Nasioya, where we are also putting up a GSS school. We'll also we'll also go back to Buko Primary and put cabro, tiling, and landscaping. We also allocated enough funds to do the same at Kamasielo, FYM, and Kamsinde RC. We are doing the same in Kamsinde RC, Kamsinde FYM. We are building a GSS classrooms at number one FYM. But we also do 100% facelift of a school called number one FYM primary school as well, including we will provide electricity to that area, so that the school was it's part of the school in Kenya that was put on solar. But that solar, does it work? No. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. No, solar has got a lifespan. So the solar doesn't work. But we have put the school on the program to have proper electricity. So that is Maini, we are done. In Kamkuya, we are going to sort out New Hope Mangale, of course, Kamkuya AC. Sure Juda, we are putting up GSS classrooms. Yeah. But once that one project is come, I'll explain to you after this on the next phase again. So Sule Juda, we are putting up GSS classrooms. We're also putting up GSS. What is his name? Namasanda. That Namasanda, you need land. We build 6 classrooms, which is not enough, on half an acre. So you need to identify another land next to the school, at least 1 acre. I have allocated I've allocated enough money to buy 1 acre piece of land for your school. So you need to identify whether you will speak to there's a church. Have you managed to get some land? Next to the school or far? How much? Get him, will work with my office, get the requisite documentation, sign agreement. I have allocated money to buy land for that school, so that next financial year, which begins in the next 5 months, we can allocate money to build 6 more classrooms, so that the school can be complete. Yeah. We're also doing the same project to Mahonge Primary School, Ulare Baptist. We're also doing the same project to a school called Nakalira Primary School, Musembe Primary, Socio Primary School. Musembe Primary, you need to find the land that you got is very far from the school. You know, when you get land that you have to cross someone's land to access it, it doesn't make sense. Yeah? It doesn't make sense. We will see if we can get, you know that where there was a quarry.
There is some sugarcane planted very adjacent to the gate. And this other one is free.
You have to cross the road.
No.
Yeah.
Okay,
we will need to check. So that land can come. That land can come maybe next year. But this year, what I had planned to do is to put tiles in the classrooms, because we already renovated, put tiles and put cabro. within the main school, and we can begin to engage the people who can sell you land. And I think I will find time and visit there myself so that we ensure we are doing the proper thing. Yeah, we also buying land through a school called Ruboha. Up Malimi Ruboha? Yeah, Ruboha. We're also buying land to sort out that school. These things that I've said here, we are doing them within the funding of this year. When I say the funding of this year, it doesn't mean beyond May. I mean this year, I mean in June and backwards now. But the next financial year being from the month of June, which begins this year in about 6 months, we will have another. I am planning myself to ensure that I put enough money in our budget through the Ministry of Education. I will first identify the activities that we are going to do, then commit that money in our budget, which we are already doing. You know, the budget process making has already begun. It begins from the ministry itself, getting the technical teams coming together, identifying the project that should be undertaken, the amount of money that should be put in. So I'm already working to ensure that I have enough funds for my schools in the Ministry of Education National Assembly budget. And we will also, that will be our last stretch. And then we are also going to the schools where they had scarcity of land. We will have bought enough land, and then at least beginning from May, we can now continue with our program of facelifting our schools. Like I've said, no more construction of story buildings. We are going to improve the existing infrastructure that were built very many years ago that are completely dilapidated. And this year also we are going to put up our Huduma Center. We have enough funding. I think in the next 1 week, that Huduma Center must be completed within of a period of not more than 2 months, beginning today. So that the problems of you going to apply for birth certificates in Bungoma, you should now just begin to process them from here. Yeah, and I will, once they are here, we can manage them. They can be even moving to schools. We draw a timetable, they move to schools so that our parents don't travel longer distances. So listening for that piece of document. So even as Malimu, I hope you have those GSS on your fingertips. The projects that I've mentioned, these are projects that I think when I document documentary, they can give me some competitive advantage to run for governor of Bungoma. But the others, smaller ones, I didn't have to mention, like the JSS. When it comes, because now, JS grade 9, right? Grade 9 or grade 8? Grade 9 is under you people, right? So I've seen many leaders making noise elsewhere across the country that grade 9 will have nowhere to learn from. What I want you people to do is that I don't think if I have a school in my constituency that I will have that will not have a space for grade 9 to learn from. And what you do is basically simple. You are a teacher. You begin occupying the students in following priority of the seniority, right? So for example, the schools open today. So when they opened yesterday, I am presuming this is what you did. You put the children in the parade square, then you identify the best classrooms. The best class, you give it to grade 9. Then you add the second one, you give it to grade 7, 8. Then you go to grade, you go to grade, you go to grade, then you go to grade, you go to grade, then you grade, then you grade, then the other one, the grade 1. If the grade 1 doesn't have a place to learn from, those are small boys, you put them under a tree. Yeah. No. Because you see, between grade 9, grade 8, 7, and 6, in terms of concentration and ensuring that you complete the syllabus in time, you look at it from an angle, then it's basic knowledge that those ones will be fast settled. But the grade 1, the syllabus, these are people even you are teaching them how to dress clothes, how to match, they are the one who spend most of the time even playing. You get the point? So that should not be a problem at all. And like I've said before, that the role of a teacher is to teach the children of Kenya within the facilities that the government of Kenya has provided. If the government of Kenya has not provided the area where they can learn from, you identify a very nice tree, you put them under a tree, right? This teacher for Chelekei Secondary School, when Chelekei Secondary School was first registered, there was no land and there was no classroom. So they had been given a space in the primary school. And in the same primary school, there were no classrooms. So they identified some trees in the primary schools. That's where they were learning from. Yeah? Even when they went now, they finally bought land. There were no classrooms. I remember constructing some 2 mud-wall classrooms for them before I was a member of parliament. Yeah? Even Hamlati, this man was learning from a rented field with some very funny buildings. Same to a school called Namahele Primary School, Matisi, and there's a school behind Kimili called Ngoli Primary School, which I think also we need land to expand that school. I had forgotten, there are very many primary schools where we had bought land by CDF in the previous financial years, like Sango, Matisi, Mahonge, where we bought land, but there was a small balance of maybe 900,000, 100,000, those smaller money. We have factored all of them in our budget this financial year to pay. So what you need to do, you need to begin engaging the tenants who are still living in the school. For example, Mahonge Primary and Matisi. There is a house that is within the school, so you need to begin to negotiate with them that in the next 3 months they must look for an alternative because they are going to move. So once we pay them now, we will give them a notice of 3 months to leave. So that's what we are going to do. I don't want to take much of your time. Maybe Mwalimu, you can brief us on these JSS classrooms that we are constructing, both the one that we are undertaking through the national government and the CDF. I think you have got all those ones you can just take us through, because hiyo ndio ya class yako.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. Let's clap for Mheshimiwa. Yeah, thank you, Mheshimiwa. And you know, from that, colleagues, you can be able to realize that Mheshimiwa is doing a lot of work, and when I listen, in all the schools. Yes. So everybody is captured. There may be 1, 2, 3, but that will be sorted. But Mheshimiwa, we are very grateful. And also one thing I'm happy with him is that he knows all the schools in Kimili. By name, without referring anywhere. Offered. And you go to other places, Mheshimiwa will be asking, hiyo shule iko hapo, hiyo hapo. But Mheshimiwa, we are proud of you and the work that you are doing for Kimilili. Colleagues, we have no excuse, the way I said, that there is a lot of investment in terms of education in our sub-county, and we have no excuse but to give our learners the best. At the moment, we have the grade 9 classroom construction. And we have covered a lot of ground, although a few schools may be remaining, but we have covered a lot of ground. But before I give the summary, I also want to thank Mheshimiwa. We have done a lot of messages on the wall, done a lot of circulars, explaining something that he has really simplified. That priority goes to grade 9. Kama kuna kanisa karibu, kama kuna ECD room, weka class 1. Ama watoto wa ECD. But the best goes to grade 9 like that, the way Mheshimiwa has told us. Simuna kubali, kuna a lot of circulars kwa wall every day. Even there was another one every day. So that one is simplified. We have a total of 57 JSS schools in our sub-county. And the construction for grade 9 has been ongoing for some time. And one thing that I wanted us to understand, I've shared before, and we shared with Mheshimiwa, is that all the projects being undertaken in our school, either by CDF or the Ministry of Education, are government projects. And Mheshimiwa is part of the government, is part of the budgeting, is part of the decisions. So we cannot sit and say, hizi sio zake, hizi ni zake. So we have to agree on that as we move on. Because I know a stage is coming when we shall be commissioning the classrooms and Mheshimiwa will be commissioning all of them. So in the first phase, we had 4 schools. That is Chesamis mixed 4 classrooms. Not Chesamis mixed, Chesamis FYM 4 classrooms. Sehendo 3 classrooms. Chebukwabi 3 classrooms. Kimilili RC 3 classrooms. And all of them were completed. They are ready for occupation. Then in the second phase, we had 18 schools, ministry, and we had 10 schools, CDF. So the two combined in the second phase is 28 schools. The schools, maybe those who are not aware of that, I shared with you. The schools are Sulo JI, 2 classrooms, Namboana RC, 2 classrooms, Nasioya Junior, 2 classrooms, Kimilili RC, 2 classrooms, Lutonye FYM, 2 classrooms, then Luhome Baptist, 2 classrooms, Mwangale DP, 2 classrooms, Sibakala 2, Kimingiji 2, Luboha 2 classrooms. Then we also had the other ones directly from the ministry, Kimilili FYM, 3 classrooms, Alan Bradley 1, Kibunde 1, St. John's Miruri 1, Siuna 1, Namasanda 1, Nakalira 2 classrooms, Mahonge 1, Matisi 1, Kamasielo 1, Kamasielo 2, Kikwechi 1, Namboane FYM 1, Chelekei 2, Kimilili DB 2, Hamlati 1, Ngoli 1, Kambini CC 1, Misiho Main 1. That gives the total of 28 schools. In phase 2, 60% of the schools have completed the construction. Sinibo. And they are ready for commissioning. However, we have some challenges in one or two areas. One is that some 5 schools did not receive the funding from the ministry. I think they know themselves. We have made a follow-up. We have written several letters. We also shared with the director, and he assured us that he's going to release the funds. Then we also have around 5 of them where work has not started, but as you have been told, the funding was partly this financial year, partly the next financial year. So anytime the funds come in, the work will commence. But the most important thing is that those 28 schools, you receive the classrooms. Those who received have completed. I know if I go to NEMS, it will take long, but the only scenario is for phase 2, we are at around 86% of the construction. But those are around 14 schools are ready for commissioning. So phase 2 is also moving on well. Then we had a number of schools that had remained, and quite a number have been put in phase 3. We have the following schools in phase 3, where the work is to commence in 2 weeks' time. That is Bituyu FYM, 2 classrooms, Kamkuya AC, 3 classrooms, Kamkuya FYM, 3 classrooms, Kamsinde FYM, also 3, Huiroro 2, Kibinge FYM 2, Lurare 1, Maeni 2, Matile RC 2, Namahele 2, Namahanga Bahai 1, Namahanga DB 2, Nasianda 2, Suleiman Murunga 1. Then we also have the other 8. That is Musembe 2, Sosio RC 2, Kamzinga AC 2, Kitai 2, Luanda SA 2, Matili FYM 2, St. Joseph's Kamsinde 2, St. John's Buko 2, Matisi 1. Those are the ones that missed out. So the other 21 schools are covered in phase 3. Then we remain with around 3 schools that we have been advised that they'll be funded directly by the ministry through the operation account. So where we are at the moment is that all the schools have been covered. It is just a matter of time. But for those who received the funds, we have completed the construction. Those who have not, they are doing the painting and the finishes. So I'll just request that we be patient, the way we have been advised. At the end of the day, all of us will have the classrooms. But for now, be creative enough. We don't want to hear in Kimili ya kwamba maybe daraja Mungu haina mahali pa kuweka wanafunzi. You will be embarrassing us, and you'll also be embarrassing Mheshimiwa. How can you say that a whole governor has no classroom? So let's ensure all our learners are accommodated and are settled. But we shall be sharing the list with Mheshimiwa, and we shall also be sharing with you the schedule so that he comes around and commissions the classrooms. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa.
Asante. I think I had also forgotten Chesami's FIM is part of the funding for this year. The funding for elimination of the old classrooms. Kamkuya FIM also. Kamkuya FIM is also part of that program. And even my FIM. Rwanda SA is not. Okay. What we did that we never followed any particular order. We just gave. We are doing about 25 schools this financial year. But I also have about 16 million being emergency. Emergency, you don't budget. We will identify some 2-3 schools to be done also, we can also do through the emergency funding. And the process is already ongoing. We are processing the request as we receive the BQs and the approved drawings. But because we are almost to the tail end of this financial year, the rest of the schools that missed out on this year that we are in are going to be captured from May. Yeah? There is something that I was doing in the previous years that gave us some bit of problems, which we are not going to repeat the same this year, where you use common sense to begin construction, then we can fund, especially when we are at the tail end of the financial year. But that one gave us some bit of problems. The board gave us conditions. You remember last time we had tulikuwa tumeanzisha Taraja Mungu, Pituyu, Kamsinga AC, Suleiman Murunga, and then we had another fund manager who captured them as ongoing instead of new. So they said, who approved them? We never approved them. So they had to give us some problems of coming to check their structural integrity, because they said we cannot take over a building whose structural integrity we are not aware. And I think that time there were things which was neither here nor there. I also hear some people say that that our CDF is controlled from Nairobi. I wonder where do they get those information from? CDFC accounts in Kenya are controlled by the board in Nairobi. There is no constituency that is on its own. All our constituency, they are controlled from Nairobi by the board on limited mandate. But in terms of project identification, funding, deciding on how much money to pay this school, how much to pay this contractor, execution, whether you build a building that the doors are facing the west or the east or the north, is solely dependent on ourselves. The amount of bursary we issue, it's dependent on ourselves. We run everything here. I think those were just part of the collateral damage that I have to go through by declaring that I want to run for governor of Bungoma. Right? So I thank you very much for coming to this meeting. I don't take it for granted. You've been very supportive. When you go to other constituencies, there are rumors that I beat teachers. Is there anybody here that I've ever beaten? I don't know where they got this information from. I was in Nairobi and someone told me that I saw a post. I saw a post that Kimili MP has gone to Chepkaka Girls and beaten up the headmistress. I wondered, Chepkaka Girls is not even in my constituency. Yeah? So there are those rumors that I don't interfere with the running of schools. I don't. Yeah. Even when the school has problems, that I know it has problems, I tell the assembly, please sort out this problem, because once I am not competent by training on matters of education. If the school is performing poorly, I am not competent to know what is the problem. I am only competent to interpret a report done by experts on why that school is not doing well and what we need to do. Right? So me, I don't interfere. And some of you, when you have a problem with the Kasembeli, you think I am the one who has engineered it. For example, I don't know the reason why Hate was transferred from Nasianda to Punda. I was not involved. I was told he had a discipline issue which I am not aware, And I shouldn't be aware because that's not part of my responsibilities to understand what discipline issue this teacher has with the Ministry of with the TSC. So that one I was not involved. I was not aware about that thing. So they ended up now speculating. I only went to school because he let the children come to my compound. When the children are, when the whole school have come with my compound with the leaves and singing names, I have to respond to them and find out what's the problem. Then when I finally got to understand the problem, I was told the parents don't want Hate to leave that school. And I stood there like this because you know this is my area, this is where I was born. I saw the people who are very vocal about him not going. I saw them, they were all drunkards, and they come from a family that I'm aware they never went beyond class 7. So I told him, where Masika, who will figure class 7? What competence do you have to tell if the teacher is better or it will not go? Eh? So based on that, I said I will not interfere with the running of schools by TSC, by the ministry. I don't involve. And I think all of you here, some may not have supported me, even when you are here. But that is your democratic right. There is no single day I've ever picked a phone and called any one of you and tell you, why are you not supporting me? You know, I don't. I have never. Yeah? Ama kuna mtu nimepigia simu nasema, why are you not supporting me? I don't. Because najua politics to support a person where your interests are. And the people who are running for this my seat here, some could be your relative, some could be your personal friend. So you choose to support whoever you support, depending on where your interests are. And I have never taken it an issue. I have never transferred a teacher because he or she doesn't support me. I think I have never. I think what I do, most of you here I bring. If you ask me, you have a problem, you want to come here, and blah 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 blah, you want to come, I'll say you come. You know, I have never engineered the transfer of a teacher. I don't have, you know. And I'm sure even the Kasembeli, if I were him, in my mind, there are some schools that had some bit of turbulence, especially the secondary school. Yeah, because we don't have, the only indicator that our school is not doing well is when you see a sudden drop in the admissions. Yeah, a school drops from 700 students to 150 to 200. Yeah, even in Maeni, I was never involved in transferring the teacher. Yeah, that lady, I think she was a relative to, I think, head of public service, and the politics around that area was not good. Yeah, and then she voluntarily asked to leave. Then this Miss Mukui came around. Yeah, which I have vowed to support to stabilize the school, because the school have suffered some bit of turbulence. So those propaganda that flies out there, that I have done ABCD, I don't. Even the latest one that they said that this guy called Mr. Lahat, that I chased him from Nasianda, I didn't. I have never. The school has no toilets. The only meeting that I convened in that school is to tell the parents that I am going to build your toilets in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 days, which we managed to do. Because toilets, pit latrines are the simplest to build. Once you have a pit, the pit itself, you put a slab, and you can even put mabat, because it's something that in a very few itajaa na wakuja wabomoe. Hakuna urembo na choo tu ni choo. You know. So I sorted it out. The meeting I went there was for that purpose. But the decision to transfer that teacher was made by the TSC, people who transfer them, right? But at least I try. If you look at the statistics, of the number of teachers that have come to my constituency, especially from the time from 2022, the number has increased. Yeah, even for secondary school, the number has increased. Even this time for these JSS, junior secondary school teachers, I think we managed to get more slots than a number of constituencies, because una kondoo ama ng'ombe inakula nyasi kulingana na urefu wa kamba yake. Sasa yangu kidogo ni mrefu kidogo. Yeah. So I am happy. I will, unless if there is anybody with a question, I will end the meeting here. But that notwithstanding, we are also working on a proposal doing public participation for the projects that we begin to undertake from the month of June this year, being our new financial year. We are doing public participation in terms of identifying what we will do on Kibunde Primary School. You missed out on this one because you already have an ongoing project of 8 classrooms. So I was balancing in terms of where we haven't done a project so far. So we are doing public participation on what we'll do on Kibunde Primary School. We are also doing public participation on additional classrooms, even though we have already allocated money to buy land for a school called Alan Bradley. Alan Bradley is in Alan Bradley. Alan Bradley is a school next to French School Kamsinga. We are also doing. We had some money. We had some money that my office undertook to give to Namahere. Wapi mwalimu ya Namahere? Ule muhindi bara na kusumbua. Yeah, kabisa. So we are going to pay that money in the next 1 week. Sasa mwambia asikusumbue. So we are going to sort it out. And we are also doing public participation for construction of other classrooms as you will advise us on the need, on the requirements. But at least we will put cabro tiles and do some bit of landscaping. When I was elected, that school, the children had jiggers. There were jiggers in schools. And her offices was in, office ya makaratasi, and you are an office part here, then at the back there is a classroom. So those are some of the things which we sorted out. We are also doing public participation for more projects in we have this school called Wanda Primary School. We are doing project identification, public participation in Kambini Primary School, Sango Primary School. We are also doing the same at another one we are going to do it this year, Kimingichi AIC. Have mwalimu ya Kimingichi AIC? Yeah, we have projects on your school this year. And then in Kamkuya also New Hope Mangale. Have New Hope Mangale Primary? Ajakuja. They said that we have a project in that school. And of course, I also have a robust plan for Surwe Juda. Once we finish this JSS classroom, we will also ensure that all the school looks uniform. Try to secure that school because when it rains heavily, that area has got too much water. So we'll do drainage on that school, proper drainage, and we do cabro because the same area is usually flooded when we have these El Nino rains, and all the locals go to stay in that school. Anybody with a question? Yes, Mali. Yeah. That school, you've been there for how long? 3 months. 3 months. Okay. That school, I think has a problem for land, right? Or,
We have secured some land from the neighbor.
yeah.
We had some claims in October, and I brought the recommendation at your office.
It's next to the school.
Very much next to the school.
And how much is the land costing?
We are talking about 1.5.
1.5. 1.5 million. Okay, that one we can take it immediately. But I agree. You have how many classrooms?
6.
6 classrooms. 6 or 8?
Have 8.
You have 8, because I know they are 8. You know, I have the records of all. Yeah, I have the records because because I build myself personally. I built 6 and I completed 2 that was for Suleiman Murunga. So we will. So how many additional do you want for the school to be complete?
If I got 4,
Yeah,
better for me.
I will do 4, because now the population of primary schools never goes down, because it's only primary schools that are seen to be equal. You know, parents will select a primary school because it's proximity to their home. But those who are going to Form 1, they will select depending on the performance, and not even in performance, because many of our students are average, so they will select depending on how the infrastructure, availability of school bus, those small things that guides them on what they should do. So that one I'm going to do it. Iko mwalimu ule yako ya zamani alikuwa sijui ameandika sijui barua sijui ya nini.
Yes.
Uliona hiyo barua?
Nimeleta kwa office juzi.
Umeleta kwa ofisi? Okay. Sawa. Yes, madam.
I come from Kibunde. We also have a problem of flooding, a serious one. In fact, we have underground water just coming from there to the school, inside the classes.
Okay.
Another problem, when I went to that school, I found the bill of electricity at 260,000. So they disconnected the electricity in school just because of the bill. We tried some fund drive. We were only able to raise 16,000 shillings. So we have no power in school, yet the CPC requires electricity for learning to take place smoothly. Then our road is completely impassable, sir, during rain season. Thank you.
Correct.
Thank you, sir. Wanyama RC Boys. Let me address you as my governor 2027. I really wish to draw your attention to, even if you've closed any window of building any new classroom, my school, I think, is a 3-streamed school, and is the only school which had not maybe gotten any extra. I'm having trouble with what is happening. My prayer will be, even if there is an emergency, we were given 2 classes when all the others that maybe have my population are given 3, with the project that our director has just said. So I'll personally just lay a counter to it. But if you can construct around 4 classrooms, it will be okay, on top of what you've promised to do in the same school. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
The donor gave the school 1.25 acres. The example was encroaching the school and has refused to move. So half an acre is out. So I'm asking for your assistance. Then the school doesn't have enough classrooms. You put up 8 classrooms, and we converted one into an office. So some classes are running to Mother. There is also a willing person who is was 3/4 of an acre and is willing to sell.
How much?
3/4 of an acre.
How much?
And he's willing at 1.8.
Yeah. That one is a town school.
That is a town school.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, correct. They said it in plots. Yes. Wacha ule alafu nakuja kwa
Thank you, sir. I'm Gary Nyongesa from Nasioya SK. Mine is just a small concern. In most of your programs, you may also remember these special needs, the special needs learners, and also we also requested something to have an ear center, assessment center, to assess these learners, to put them in their own placement. We only have one in Larger Bungoma, and that is Webuye. All Mount Elgon and here Kimili, we normally go there. So parents find it difficult to take their children to Bungoma.
School what?
Education Assessment Resource Center.
EARC, Education Assessment
Resource Center.
So if we have one here in Kimili, it will be a plus. Thank you.
For special needs. Okay.
Yes.
You want us to put to build it in Kimili DEB, Nasioya, or Namwanga DB?
No, it is
Kimili DEB, that will be more.
Point. Yes, it is.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa.
What we do, let us first deal with the. I'll give you. You speak the last.
Yes.
If you have, if I already explained something on your school, let us give a chance to those ones who maybe whom we have not done anything. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. My name is Nadia Didmus, a teacher at Bakala RC.
Yes.
In your talk, I've not heard you to mention Bakala. And I remember when you came to the second section, you promised the parent that during the holidays you do the capros and renovation of the buildings. So yesterday when we were opening schools, a few parents came and they were asking me if it had been done. And from the director, we are supposed to have been put up some 2 classrooms, of which has not started. So it's a concern.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
So the ones that have not started, they will start. It means we are put on the budget. It is part of the school that we will do using emergency funds. You know, emergency funds, you don't put it in the proposal. You make some local arrangements, especially at this time when we are getting to the an emergency has not arisen. So that money you convert them just to a note to the board for approval, then you convert them into sorting out the school. So your school, my commitment still remains. We will do Cabro, change the school, and also we'll do the 2 JSS. That's what the director said.
Thank you, sir. Mine is about Namawanga Bahai Special School. I've not heard you mention this school, and even my chairman knows I'm here. I don't know what I'm going to tell them, and I don't know which plans you have for us.
That's the school that is on the Barasa.
Apo, yeah.
That new buildings, who built them for you?
National Fund for Disabled of Kenya.
Yes. So you are now remaining with how many classrooms?
I urgently need dormitories.
Dormitories.
Yes.
Okay. It's a boarding school, right? Because those children cannot go home.
They cannot walk home.
Yes.
Somebody who's came from Kimili did this special school. I've not heard you mentioning it, and yet, Mheshimiwa, this is the only boarding school in your constituency. Our school doesn't have a lot of, my school does not have many buildings. We don't have enough dormitories, population has increased. We don't have enough classes. We don't even have administration block. We don't even have toilets, sir.
You've been there for how long now?
from 2023.
I got some funding through the Japanese government. Mm-hmm.
And they are the ones who constructed for us the dormitories.
Mm-hmm. So what do you require now?
I need
How many classes?
I need 4 classes.
4 classes.
Yes. And
So-
the administration block we don't have.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have latrines. Teachers share latrines with the pupils. And remember, these are special needs learners. So the situation is pathetic.
Mm-hmm. So what I will principally agree is to put up which will serve this constituency and the neighboring all of you. That one I'm going to put up, and I will I will get a donor to do more toilets, because the toilets that are there, or we'll do, you know, what we will do that for you, I will do it. We will do the normal toilets for the staff, because the toilets that are there, they are done in a way that it supports those children that are enabled separately, differently. So I'm going to give you this year those 4 classrooms, but we have to build that center. And then for Bahai, you require a dormitory.
Yeah, I require 2 dormitories for boys.
Uh,
I have many problems, but
we will build a long one, then we divide in the middle, then the boys and girls can be there. So I will send you my team. I will send you my team from Public Works to engage on to get how the design should look like, whether they should be done in a manner that supports them. So I have 3 in my constituency: Bahai, Kimili DB, and Nasioya, right? Nasioya, what do you require?
The land, sir.
Uh-huh.
The neighboring member wishes to sell the land.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what do you want to put up in the land? Because you have your place has got a very good field.
In that, we wish to move the church, because the church is exactly.
What we will do?
Yeah.
The church requires what size of land?
It has 3 quarters that is having in the compound. When I stretch my hand when I'm in the office, I touch the church.
So what you do, you can get a half an acre.
Yes.
We buy, then you move the church. So that half an acre, it doesn't have to be necessarily next to the school. I agree with the church. They can look for it, even if it is a few meters from the school, so that when they are, of course, because nowadays I'm also told that Salvation Army, you are a row of mtakatifu. So if they are having prayers and you are doing exams, the row of mtakatifu ikishika washirika, unajua you pray and control it. So that one I will do. I will do it for you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And it's not completed. We don't have the kitchen, don't have the dining hall. Remember, I said the school is a boarding school, so kindly, Mheshimiwa, if you can send maybe your team also.
No, me, I will do for you that 2 dormitories of what capacity?
Dormitories are mine.
100 learners.
You have 100 learners in that school.
I have 216, sir.
Then what you need to do, you need to move. You need to get land and move from that primary.
Before we get the land,
Yeah. I think look for land. That school, it needs not to be within town. Right? You can identify somewhere land because the place is congested. Find out, you can look for some land. I wouldn't mind, in fact I will be happy next month I would be happy if I can relocate the school to a new piece of land that you have got. You are from grade 1 to? Eh?
Ours, we don't call them grades.
Yes.
We have levels.
Levels what to level what?
I have levels from foundation up to vocational class.
So those are like how many classes?
7.
Up to 9.
9. 9 classes. So you need 9 classes, abolition blocks, and the dormitories for them.
But I already have the dormitory.
If we have, because that place, you know that place, Kimili DB, behind the school there's a playground. There is no any extra place where you can build a classroom. And that school began from a temporary site. The community thought that once the school has, when you are beginning a special school, maybe you have 10 learners or 20 or 30. So what I would advise you to do is that you must look for land, at least 2 acres. And you have the board?
Yes, I have.
I think what we need to do, tell your board, communicate to your board, and that one for Nasioya, you can come specifically and see me tomorrow, so that we can have even in the afternoon or whichever time tomorrow, we can have a robust discussion where we will agree on what we do, then we can proceed forward.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, madam.
Thank you, sir. Mine will be a little bit different.
Yeah.
I will probably have my colleague.
Yeah.
We came here last year and we gave you names for the Form 1s. I really want to appreciate you because you really supported those children, Form 1s. Now, the problem is, those who are in Form 2, 3, and 4, the parents were really complaining. Kindly don't forget them this year. Secondly, I really want to appreciate you for recognizing that there are some secondary schools that are really suffering. The 8 of us that came, we are really grateful. And we are hopeful that you're going to do something. Thank you, sir. We wish you well.
Yes, madam.
Okay, thank you, Mheshimiwa, for recognizing number 1 FIM for the application and the improvement you are going to do it. However, we also have a challenge. We have got 3 classes were demolished. And therefore, the congestion there is just too much.
You are demolished by who?
The former PBO members that were there, it was condemned and it was formerly used by the secondary. After the secondary had migrated, it was demolished. And therefore, the congestion in classes are too much. Those classes need to be rebuilt again. And also, there is no office, there's no administration block. I operate from the corridor. And in fact, the storage of the textbooks are for, I'm lamenting that we are not having a proper place to keep those resources for the learners. And even the staff room, they are only sitting in a demolished, a condemned building. That building is anytime it can, I think it can fall to teachers. So I'm having that problem. And lastly, the road to the school. The road to school needs to be marked. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Which road?
The road entering to school from Kamsinde, just near to the gate, Nasusi.
But that road has already down in the last 1 week or 2, how many days?
It's, I think it was done last year, August year. Last year. It was not Mara.
Which number 1?
Number 1 FIM.
FIM?
Yes, sir.
That road, when did you do that road?
Around 1 month ago.
Around 1 month ago.
But the entry to the school, it was neglected. It was not done.
The access road,
yes,
from the main road to the school,
yes,
which is about
just 100 meters. 100 meters from the main road here.
Okay, because it's not classified. Yeah. The roads, whatever is classified is the main road. So the access road there about, but anyway, I've taken note.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. I'm from Rwanda SM. As I want to request us we carry out the administration, as you have said, the school needs a very serious facelift.
Correct.
Some classes are condemned. Population is high, but the classrooms are few. In fact, nowadays, we take our studies from the church, SA church. And then the land, we also have a shortage of land. In fact, last time you thought of giving us some money for climatic change. I really wondered how we were to go about it because of the size of the land. So,
I've said some. Because, pardon?
My school was on the list.
Yeah, but you see, you know, when you get this, once you are on the list, then you will get. The financial year is at midway. The only amount of money that we have received for this financial year is administration and bursary, which we are now, it's about 23 million, which is not part of it, which are now, people are now applying bursary for us now to send the bursaries. But once you are on the list for mitigation, it means you have the money, you need to begin to think around about what it is that we will do. We wanted to plant some fruits, but if you have no place to plant fruits, I think we need to change. Maybe some trees and the landscaping. So that's something which I will get to my team and see what we can do. Yes, madam.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Mr. Rajamungu. I want to appreciate what you've done to the Rajamungu. Like yesterday, I received almost 20 new learners. Story building, but the problem is just land. That school is in 1 acre, and the population is growing. So if you make arrangement and have 1 acre for us, the neighbors are willing, 2 of them. One has 2 acres, another one has 1.
How much for the 2 acres?
1 million. That is 2 million.
Yeah, that one I'm ready. You engage them. They'll have the documents.
Thank you.
Asante. Yeah. Yeah.
Some of the 4 classes has condemned.
How long are you in this also?
2 years.
2 years. Yes. Yeah, because your school had St. Mary's Socio, Kimili, friends, girls. Your former, the person who left before you came in, na mwalimu ile ya Kimili FYM, alikuwa rafiki ya one of my fund managers. They embezzled some funds or something which was completely against. In here they put money on a kitchen, close to 5 million on a kitchen which is qualified. For that in your school they did some funny renovation. Going to the amount of money they spent is enough to build even new fresh buildings. Because I just felt like it was unnecessary. But anyway, those ones they did them, they left. So me, I will, like I said, I have a plan for that school. So I'll put those things also in perspective. And the schools which, by the way, there is no classrooms that is condemned. What happens, the public health officer has got no competence to condemn a classroom. What they do, they just do a letter saying that this classroom should not be used until a structural engineer has done an inspection. It's only a structural engineer, a public director of public works in Bungoma called Silungi, who has the capacity to write and condemn a building. But because we live in a country where they say, Osiamutinga alirabwene, so whoever is in charge of grinding flour at that portion decides to visit your school and says these classrooms are condemned. I want to tell you something. This man, for very many years, had children in multiple classrooms. Sango Primary, the same. Right? You know Sango Baptist, the same. Matisi, the same. Hii shule ya inaitwaje Chesambi kuna inaitwaje? Namasanda, the same. Kikwechi, the same. Well, did you ever see somebody telling you you get the children out of the classroom? Did you ever see somebody telling you? No, nobody went to them and said, get the children out of this classroom, right? So there is nobody who has, it's just precautionary, right? Precautionary about the state of the classrooms, the way they are. But like I've said, part of my plan, the very many schools that I've said here, we are going to change the face of the old buildings. I think that is going to be part of what we are going to do to ensure that all our schools are okay. I want to make my commitment that by December this year, I'm going to do my campaigns for Governor of Bungoma through development. And what has elevated me to that platform where the people of Bungoma can discuss my candidature as a serious one is because of how I have transformed education in my constituency. And we are going to work together. I call you here so that you can be part and parcel of my bigger vision. Yeah? So your schools, by end of this year, there will be schools, and when we do that school, it looks like a center of excellence. You take a picture, and you send that school to your colleague in other constituencies. Okay? You take a small video. Nowadays, everybody is a videographer because of this CPC. There is no teacher who doesn't know how to take a video. You take a very nice video and you send it elsewhere. Because if I become governor, I'm going to develop the whole county to the level that we are in here. Yeah, I like the discussion. Some people have been saying that if you can manage the 100 million well, then you can manage the county more better. You people, you know me very well. Yeah? So, I am going to ensure that by the end of this year, if we do our first documentary of our schools, you know, I had somebody making a speech in Bumula saying that the reason why we have never launched a project this year in Kimili is because our funds are frozen in Nairobi. It was a strategy, right? You don't begin to show the building you are building at inception. So in the next 2-3 weeks, I'll begin to launch schools now here. Tarajamungu will be complete. Kamsinga AC will be complete. Bituyu will be complete. Kibunde will be complete. Namawanga DB will be complete. Kamasielo will be complete. Kamkuya AC will be complete. The other school called Nakalira will be complete. And like I said, I don't, you know, when you begin to launch those classrooms of 2 classrooms, 1 classrooms, people will begin, we have downgraded on our development record. So those ones I will be identifying whoever will be coming to launch them on my behalf. I will pick one principal here. If you are launching JSS classrooms in a classroom in maua, then unafungua watu wanapika pale makofi. Yeah? Kama tunafungua ingine, tunatafuta mwalimu yale ingine hiyo, na pia nakupatia na pesa kidogo ile yenye ukifungua unanunulia staff room soda. Sasa wewe aende afungue classrooms Chepkwabi, anafungua tu na kuenda, itakuwa ukiona amefika ujue ni mimi nimefika. Nitampea mpaka pesa na ya kupatia walimu na kununulia wanafunzi mkate na kuingia kwa gari yangu na kuenda. So we have so many schools. It tells you we have 50, how many GSS classrooms? 57 GSS classrooms. So my record speaks for itself. So by end of this year, I want us, when you do a documentary together, that documentary is enough to make other sub-counties vote for us as governor of Bungoma. Yeah, because and nataka msaidie hapo sana. I have told my team part of the delays for the project is, I have told you now, you know that we have a project in your school. We should not experience a situation where by the time we are processing payment for the contractor, then we are told the account is dormant. One of the signatory left the school. Either one signatory died, or the head teacher who was a signatory there left the school. So you must work closely with my team to ensure that the PMC accounts are up to date. If they are dormant, they are resurrected. If you are new in that school, you update the signatories. So that once we, we are going to do more projects because the renovations, the cabro, the tiles, the amount of money required is not too much. For example, like Kimili FIM primary, we only require to around less than 4 million because we already renovated the school. All we need to do is cabro and tiles. So that one we don't have to engage a contractor. Why would we engage a contractor to increase the costs? We just do it through labor-based. Because the tiles are bought from a hardware. You identify a hardware to buy the tiles from. The school sends money to the hardware. The tiles are delivered. They send money to the hardware for cement. The cement is delivered. They send money to whoever is supplying cabro and quarters. The same is supplied in the quantities that are prescribed to the BQ. And then the school engages a cabro technician or a foreman to lay the tiles. You agree with him, how much money are you paid per day? Mostly they will say 2,000 per day, or this amount of money per square feet of tiles fitted. You agree with them. If it is 200,000 shillings, you agree on a payment plan. The school withdraws the money, they sign the voucher, they put in the file, we finish. So that one requires 100% cooperation. And like I said before, we are not going to inconvenience any learners. We will be working at night. When the students leave the school in the evening, fundi wanaingia. Yeah? We will reserve the floors because the floors are the ones that will be disturbed. So we will focus on the roof first. Once we are done with the roof, then we go to the windows, the walls. Then the last item which we will do will be the floor. Because the floor requires that once you've done it, you come an terrazzo, am an cabro, it is not occupied at least for a day, at least for some time for that floor to properly cure. So we will come up with my team is engaging in with the experts, the public works, to come up with schedules, which activity comes first, which activity will be done later, so that we beat the deadline. By end of this year, I can take a break, go and do something else, and then my projects will campaign for me in Bungoma everywhere. Yeah. So that is why my win will depend on you people. Nobody will elect me as governor of Bungoma if we would fail to implement the projects that we are planning to implement this year. So the successful delivery of this project will go a long way in making my work very easy. You know we have a lot of things that are against us. Where we come from, which was never my choice. Yeah. To be found here is my mother who brought me here. If my mother could have gotten married in Mula or elsewhere, I would have been born there. But she chose to get married to the Mzee who lived here. So I was not there. There is nothing I could have done. Like very many mothers who are here. So there are some people who feel that is a problem, which me, I don't think it is. Kimili is a cosmopolitan place, is a home for everybody. The other areas of Sirisia, Bumula, that have suffered brain drain. Brain drain where when an individual from that area is blessed, he has some money, he want to move away from family tree, they come to live in Kimili. So I take care of them here in Kimili. Because they say, there is a saying in our community that they say, if you want to migrate, you don't migrate going backwards. You migrate going uphill. So it was the sun. So we are part of that trajectory for people migrating to us here. So that's not a problem. And we changed our laws to mean that whoever will be governor of Bungoma from 2027, they will all have to stay at Mabanga, which is central. And even if you are governor of Bungoma, regardless of where you are coming from, you have to set up a cabinet. We have about 10 cabinet slots. And it is my understanding that we will distribute these 9 cabinet slots from every constituency. Those are the people that make the decision and commit the county government. So we will have the whole of Bungoma making a decision and committing itself on our course. My approach is completely different from what our predecessors have done. My approach is to take development funds that is available. If it is 2 million, if it is 2 billion or 3 billion or whichever amount of money that will be available for development, I will split it equally across the 9 sub-counties. So there is no sub-county that will suffer because I don't come from there. Yeah? So we will split and we will manage. We will begin to develop from that area. Me, I will not focus on legacy projects in my first term. You know, a legacy project is where you commit 1,800,000,000 on one project in one ward, you know, which might not be beneficial to the rest of the other sub-counties, but you call it a legacy project. Kimili Stadium, more than 1 billion that they are putting up in Bungoma. You have another hospital of about close to 1 billion coming up in Bungoma town. Yeah, me, I am a believer of grassroots projects. I am an advocate of that a person staying from Kapsokon doesn't have to travel from Kapsokon to go and look for treatment in the Bungoma County Referral Hospital. Yeah, I am a believer that we build the capacity of all our 9 sub-county hospitals to be able to deal with any emerging emergencies. You don't have to travel to Bungoma. You know, my philosophy is drawn from our own constitution that birthed devolution. They say the money must be devolved from Nairobi to counties. So when the money is devolved from Nairobi to counties like in Bungoma, that money should not also sit at the Bungoma County headquarters. They should also be devolved to the wards and the villages. Whatever you've seen MCS fighting about ward development funds, with my candidature as governor of Bungoma, nobody will fight for ward development funds. It will be automatic because we will develop this county from the wards, and we will divide our money, you know, so that we are failed from every corner of our county. So me, I will pray for you that God gives you the energy and the good health that you require, so that you can work with me and support me to realize my dream of implementing. Yeah. Once I achieve this 20 projects that I'm talking about, and then from the month of June, I have another 30, so that by the time we get to 2027, my record here in Kimili will speak for itself. Alafu pia munisaidie kutafuta mtu mwingine mzuri ambaye akichukua kiti kutoka kwangu, mambo yanakuwa mzuri hapo ya kusonga mbele. Tuko namna hiyo? Yeah, na nyinyi mjue, because mmekuwa watu wazuri nyinyi walimu wa primary na teachers na wale both of you, you are the pool where I will get the people to assist me run my government. Yeah. nimewaita niwaambie sasa mnitafutie mtu mzuri ya kunisaidia kusukuma, because you don't need to pull a doctor from a university to come and akuwe CEC ya education ya kuangalia tu ya kuangalia tu. Do you know is a difficulty to being a headmaster of a primary school is more demanding than being a CEC in charge of education of a county.
Yes.
Because the CEC in charge of education for a county, they only have got one big role, developing the curriculum for ECD, which was developed long time ago because you don't develop it every time. Yeah? Yeah? And from where I sit, I have a feeling that the elephant in the room in the education sector within the devolved function is that the ECDE teachers should report to the head teacher of a primary school where those ECDs are domiciled from. That is my my philosophy. So we must have. I used to work with the Teacher Service Commission between 2009 to 2011 thereabout. There are some stations where Teacher Service Commission did not have a TSC staff. So they had given the Ministry of Education officials some agency letter. So those DEOs by then were also agents of the Teacher Service Commission. They were transferring teachers. They were also participating in the disciplinary of the teachers. So we must have a similar arrangements with the Teacher Service Commission so that we give the head teachers some agency authority to supervise the ECDE teachers. Because there is no way an ECDE teacher of an ECDE center in Asianda will report to somebody, they have an ECDE coordinator sitting in Bungoma. That person doesn't have, he has no capacity to travel this county. He doesn't know even some areas where they are, whether the teacher, we get our teachers from the society. In our society, we have got drunkards. So meaning you'll also get to find a teacher who's also a drunkard. So you can have an ECD teacher who comes to class. The videos you see of some ECD teachers jumping and dancing with the students, it may not necessarily mean they are teaching. It could, maybe the teacher could be even drunk, he's just dancing. Yeah? It happens. So you must have a head teacher who supervises to ensure that these learners are learning well, right? And there is no point of having, you can't have a BOM. Some governors are planning to incorporate a BOM team. How can you have a BOM, a team of 5 people, that they are board of management for an ECDE center with learners, the beginners, people who have just begun climbing academic ladder, that you have a whole team of 5 to do what? Yeah? The BOM of a primary school should extend their mandate to the ECDE, so that whatever comes out of their BOM meeting, you extract that part of ECDE and send it to the county for implementation, so that we have our ECDE to grow. So we will work together. Yeah? I will not, if I'm governor of Bungoma, I will not go to pick an ECEC for education from my university. Yeah? I will pick, that person must come from you. The teachers of Bungoma are competent enough. They have competence enough, they know what to do. Yeah. Very many know what to do. Yeah. Yeah, elsewhere, we will do that kind of a thing, right? So mimi munisaidie kufanya campaign, and the only campaign you can do for me, you take a picture of your very nice school, you send it to a colleague in Tongaren, you tell them, sisi maneno ya kujenga ghorofa tumefunga. We are now going to the next level. And you can imagine if my predecessors did what I have done, this place will be changed, you know. If you look at I have an issue, a big problem, and that is part of the things that are motivating me to run for the governor of Bungoma. You know, even if they say that the amount of money we receive is not enough, that is okay. But cumulatively for 10, 15 years, the work should build up. Yeah? We invest our money on wrong priorities. You know, when I came in as a member of parliament, my predecessors wanted to be popular in every school. So they will take 500,000 shillings on one school, maybe you build one classroom, another 500 to another school, 700 to another school. That money is not even enough to complete that project. But me, I came in and I said, I need to behave like a surgeon. When you are admitted, you are treated all the things until you are healed, so that when you go back home, you are not coming to the hospital again. You leave that space for another person who is sick. That's why we began to build, if it's a new classroom, a school that we have just registered, it requires 8 classrooms. We build 8 classrooms, and then we go. We build 6 classrooms, and then we go. We build 18 classrooms, and then we leave. So that whatever we are leaving behind is enough for the school to go for the next 5 years. No. But we can't be going to every school every year. We have one classroom. When will we finish? So if my predecessor could have done what I've done in the last 5, 6, 7 years, this constituency will have changed. You look at Bungoma, our county, from the day devolution was first initiated, when we got our first governor in 2013, up to today, the amount of money that we have received from national government, that money is enough to have changed the lives of our people who speak today. All we need to do is we need to identify what are our priorities. If it is health care, do our health centers meet even the qualification of being a health center? Do you feel proud that you can even just go and admit yourself in those health centers? So our health facilities must be better than the average quality of our bedrooms, so that when you go there and you are admitted, you feel like you are in the right hands. Even psychologically, you begin to that self-healing. Yeah. But there are some hospitals ukifikishwa hapo tu ukiona vile nimekaa unaambia watoto wangu mniletee niandike will, ni kama mimi sasa. Because you just see you are just gone. You know. So we need to identify what are our priorities. If our health care is priority number 1, then we must sort the infrastructure of our health care once and for all. Then we move on to address another issue. Yeah? The ECDE, an ECDE should be a center, should not be a classroom. A classroom is grade 1 and a grade 9. But an ECDE should be a center, should be a place where they can learn from. There should be a place where those young children can sleep. Some of them are on medication. Anakuja nyumbani anawaambia madam, you know this ECD, these teachers, they do very many things. Kama kuna madawa mtoto anakana apatiwe fika saa 6, tunapea mwalimu yake. So mwalimu yake hako na mkevi yake hapa amekaa nayo hapo. Hiyo madawa ikifika saa fulani anaangalia anajua so and so Wanyonyi anakana meza hii dawa saa fulani anapatiwa mtoto hiyo dawa, na pengine hiyo dawa iko na effect ya usingizi. Anapewa mahali ya kulala. Unakuwa na mahali pengine ya those practical things, hiyo vitu doli, so that children should learn, should like their school more than elsewhere. So we should change our ECD classes from ECD classrooms to ECD centers, with that one in our mind, right? And before I forget, I want to agree with this head teacher for Kibunde. the road from it's called Stand Kibisi. Stand Kibisi is just at the kwa mtu hapa chini. Pite Saini, pite Kibunde, iende to the bridge of Kuywa, Bobokoli. It's very bad. I have I gotten some 10 million shillings from somewhere. In the next 2 weeks, we are sorting that road before the rains comes in. We will do it from here to the other end. We will sort that road. We are also going to Tarajamungu, barabara ile access road ya shule. We are also going to sort it out. And I think going forward, I'm going to give instructions that wherever we are doing a road, and there is a small access road to a public facility, a school, they should be part of the big use for the road to be sorted out. Yeah. Yeah. This one we are putting tarmac on this road mpaka huko Chepkwavi. Ile tarmac ingine ya Hurro imesonga karibu inafika pale Sango, and then eventually also do a small variation to ile ya pale mpaka Temba tuweke hiyo na tuunganishe hii ya Rashid na ile ya chini. That road from Sikatra to Kimili, at least now we have some funding. I think the next 1 month or 2, the contractor will be back on site. Yeah. And we have agreed that this time around they will begin from Kimili going backwards. So that road is done very fast. We also tarmacking the road from Maini to Kapsokon. I'm also improving the road from that Mukulima road where we are putting tarmac under Kura to that level. From there, I have 10 million shillings, which we are also doing it grading and graveling up to Chesamis, so that it becomes passable. I also have another 10 million, which we have allocated to the road that passes through this place called Kamsinda RC. Ile inapita pale Kamsinda RC up to Kamasiero Market. There is another road that is completely bad. The road from Kamutiong, it's on the boundary of Mount Elgon and Kimili. We have gotten another 10 million. We are doing that road from Kamutiong Market to the junction, Upper Upendo Primary Academy, to the junction of Kamasielo and Kapsukon. We are going to sort it out. And very many roads here, every year, barabara na Mwanga hii tunatengeneza ile ya pale. We also another 10 million to spot maintain hiyo barabara ya Temba Chepkwavi. Ile ya Kitai tumetengeneza tayari. For a very long time, barabara kutoka Sango kwenda Kimalewa, it was bad. Tumetengeneza sasa hivi, you can travel from Sango, Siuna Market, up to Kimalewa. You know, there is no point of doing a road useme Kimilili inafika hapa Kibisi. And people are still the ones who go to Kimalewa Secondary School. So I did it even nikaingia mpaka Kapchai mpaka Kimalewa kwa soko, because still people they cross constituency business exchange. Yeah, hata ile ya kupita pale number 1 nilitengeneza, nikaambiwa sijui mpaka sijui Montelco sijui iko hapa, mimi nikatengeneza mpaka mbele huko. Nowadays the road has become busy. The suburbs who are coming to Kimili through Chesamis, nowadays they don't come through Chesamis, wanapitia tu hapo number 1 hapo wanakuja. So at times when you see us doing a road and we are extending it into the neighboring constituency, that is not to mean that we have got too much money until it's spilling out to the other constituency, but it's just to enhance connectivity and inter-trade activities between the two neighboring constituencies. Ile ya Msembe nimetengeneza, I think is okay. Ile ilikuwa ya kupita pale nyuma na Kalira, it was very bad. I've sorted it out. Now it's okay. Ile ya Onjili Marofu, ile ya kupita pale kwa governor, I've sorted it out. It's very passable. Iko sawa. Ile ya Hamlati Buko Bridge, that road also we put money. I don't know, somebody, the contractor should be supposed to come there anytime to make it very well. The bridge is done there properly so that road can be passable. Wanda, hiyo ni gani hiyo? That one is under county government, but we will also try to. We have got more money coming in, you know, and I think it's good that some of those roads, even if they're under county government, they are still for our own people. So we will be able to do them out. I'm also doing area campaign in Meifanya. The only thing that I feel indebted to, and I have to do it, is the access road to Misihu main SDA primary school. That access road is not good. Yeah. So the schools that do not have power, we noted them down, and I think the Rural Roads Authority REREC should be able to step in. They have a budget to connect all our public institutions into the national grid. So without much ado, this is the end of our meeting. I'm very grateful. We will do another one around June to be able to onboard the other schools that had missed out from this funding. But my prayer is that by June next year, we will be clear that all our schools are covered in my programs. Yeah, and the people say that our constituency is small. It's not. We have got so many schools. It's only that I decided to take a particular roadmap. You know, why would I take money to French school Kamsinga? To do what? To do what? Eh? Or money to Chesamis High School? To do what? A school with a population of 2,000 students. If you take 2,000 students times a capitation of 23,000, their annual turnover is more than what we get at CDF. So why would we take 5 million? Our development budget for CDF is 100 million per year. Why do you take 5 million to a school that has got a turnover of 150 million in a year? They have more money than what we get. So you take them money for what for? Yeah? Yeah, and these are well-established schools. The only money they benefit from us is through bursary. Yeah? And for them is very easy. What I do is that these big schools, for them is very easy to get them this direct funding from the Ministry of Education. Yeah? So we get them that money. So them they are running very well. Mine is just to follow up to ensure that they get their funding. That the one that we have managed to put in their budget, and they get their money, and then we proceed forward. So I already had a formula. And Mimi, you know, you should tell the people that initially people had an issue with me that why are you building primary schools? And we are told CBCs. Me, I knew the JSS will be domiciled in primary schools. Yeah? Because there is no way you can take a very young guy or girl or boy into a boarding school in the French school comes in. It's not possible. So I knew they would be domiciled in primary school, and we managed to push that there should be. No, initially there was a barrier, there was a wall between the primary and the JSS. Yeah, and that's why you've been now seeing these names of Nasiara Comprehensive School. Should just be a school under one headmaster, so the rest of the things are managed there together, you know, so that learners are just the same there, and we push together, then we go forward. So asante sana, wacha mimi niende. Uko na